Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Friday morning, March 10th. A lot to talk about this morning. California is getting hit by another powerful storm, and it looks like there could be a monster storm in the northeastern part of the nation come Sunday night, Monday night into the day on Tuesday. Still a lot of details have to be worked out for that, but the potential is there for a monster storm in the northeastern U.S. early next week. And as of today, there's a storm system moving into the mid-Atlantic region right now. It will bring some rain and snow to the area and then pull on out on Saturday, and then everything, all the attention will turn to the possibility of that very powerful storm developing in the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday timeframe. First of all, let's take a quick look ahead here for the next couple of weeks. This is actually a 7-day average from last night's operational run of the European model. The ensemble run of the European model. Again, a 7-day average ending March 24th. So it's ending 2 weeks from now. And for that week leading up to March 24th, this is the 500 millibar height anomaly pattern. And a couple things stand out. First of all, that southeastern ridge that has been consistent over the past couple of months, not even seen here at all, no reflection of it at all in this 7-day period ending March 24th. Also, very strong high latitude blocking. We've talked about that at length over the past couple of weeks here. It's situated over northern Canada and Greenland, and underneath it, this very active jet stream connecting really upper level troughs over the Pacific Ocean, the middle of the country, and the Atlantic Ocean. This is a stormy and basically a cold weather pattern for much of the nation. Well, how does that upper air pattern affect temperatures? This is the 10-day average of 2-meter temperature anomalies going out to March 24th. So it's a 10-day period leading up to March 24th, again from the ensemble run of the European model last night at 0Z. And not only colder than normal, but colder than normal virtually coast to coast. Really, the only place above normal here in this 10-day average period is up across Maine. And this is very, very impressive cold over a very wide area, an extent of colder than normal from coast to coast. Again, this is averaged over a 10-day period from an ensemble run, which is typically kind of smooths things out as you go out to 10 days or beyond. So this is certainly telling us there would likely not be an early spring in much of the nation as we go through the next couple of weeks. Well, let's now get back to the current situation. By the way, those prior two maps were from bamweather.com. Both of those, the 500 millibar height anomaly and the 2-meter temperature anomaly. This is the current radar aloof from WSI's and telecast.com. Again, a powerful storm slamming into California with just tremendous snowfall in those higher elevations of the Sierra Nevada and heavy rains in coastal areas, strong winds as well. And this has just been an incredible stretch of stormy conditions for California. It was about a year ago, or maybe a little more than a year ago, that the word on the street was they're having a mega drought, and maybe the worst drought in 1,200 years that would last indefinitely. Well, the drought is virtually over here. We have just a tremendous snowpack now over the Sierra Nevada and a lot of low-lying rainfall, and that pattern will continue, the active pattern for California, not only this storm, but upcoming storms as well. It looks like an active pattern going right through the month of March. By the way, very good news with this deep snowpack in the Sierra Nevada, as the melting snow during the warm season, during the summer season, for example, it acts as certainly as a important source of water. Now, one of the downsides of all of this rain and snow is that this often leads to an increase in vegetation growth, like those near ground level in forests, for example. You could have quite a bit of growth because of all this precipitation during the winter season, and that in turn can act as kind of fuel to the fire in the wildfire season later on in the summer and going into the fall. So there is one negative for all this precipitation, but for the most part, it's good news for the water supply, of course, and that's critically important in California. Meanwhile, in the eastern U.S., storm system right now, the initial low pressure area is moving into Ohio and northwestern Pennsylvania. It is starting to weaken, and by later on tonight, there'll be a secondary low forming off the mid-Atlantic coastline. Some rain across areas basically south of the Mason-Dixon line, and some snow to the north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border, and that'll continue moving to the east. And then later on tonight, we'll see this in the computer forecast models as that surface low forms off the mid-Atlantic coastline. It'll rapidly intensify. There'll be kind of an inverted trough that extends back to the mid-Atlantic coastline. That could kind of enhance the precipitation late tonight into early Saturday in places like eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, maybe New York City, maybe even producing a burst of heavier snow. But overall, quite an active pattern with one storm on the west coast and another storm moving into the east. Well, let's kind of take a close-up here of the Mid-Atlantic region from the latest high-resolution model called the HRRR on an hour-by-hour basis. We'll follow the precipitation here. Again, not a big deal here, but some snow primarily north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border and rain to the south of there. Now moving into central Virginia, D.C., and it tends to fall apart a little bit south of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border as we get to the later part of the afternoon. Some rain, some snow, not a big deal. And then it continues to move to the east. And it is at this time that this initial low will really die out. And we'll start to see the signs right here by later on tonight. It's about the middle of tonight, maybe shortly after midnight. Intensification begins here off the mid-Atlantic coastline, and we'll see here by the time we get to early tomorrow morning. This is after in the wee hours of the morning right here, and notice right here you have this isobar pattern in this fashion. This is what we call an inverted trough that basically extends from the center of the low pressure back, in this case, northwest into the mid-Atlantic region. And it oftentimes acts as kind of an enhancement to the precipitation pattern. Here it is again now about 5 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning, right here, an inverted trough extending back. And these areas right here, northeastern PA, especially northern New Jersey, and maybe ultimately all the way down to southeastern PA and central New Jersey, have to watch for a little bit of a burst of snow as this inverted trough kind of swings from the northeast to the southwest. So this precipitation, again, could drive down to the south and west early tomorrow morning. This is now about 7 or 8 a.m. on Saturday, and here is that extension here, that inverted trough right in this region right here, extending back into the eastern part of Pennsylvania. And again, this is the time period of interest, maybe late tonight, the wee hours of the morning, going into early Saturday across eastern PA, especially east central and northeastern PA, and much of New Jersey. Watch for a burst of heavier precipitation and likely in the form of snow. And then that system finally exits off to the east. Well, in terms of snowfall for this initial system here in the Mid-Atlantic region, certainly heavier amounts across upstate PA and southern part of New York. Again, that initial low moves all the way into northwestern Pennsylvania, and then the secondary takes over. And there could be, again, a little bit of snow across east central PA, maybe even down to southeastern PA, the northern half of New Jersey, and especially watch out for a potential heavier snow shower or two late tonight, early tomorrow in this part of the Mid-Atlantic region. Well, now let's kind of take a bigger picture once again. This is the Zero-Z Canadian model that I'm using here. And this is a forecast map of total precipitation, liquid equivalent precipitation, going into the middle of next week, all the way through Wednesday morning. Just wanted to point out some of the highlights. First of all, a lot of precipitation in the eastern half of the nation, especially in the northeastern part of the nation, and that is largely due to what could turn out to be a monster storm for the northeastern part of the nation early next week. Meanwhile, take a look here in California once again. Along the coastal, low-lying areas, significant rainfall all the way up into Washington and Oregon and really the southwestern part of British Columbia. And take a look at these totals here. This is total liquid equivalent in those higher elevations of the Sierra Nevada. Off the scales here pretty much. It's a couple of feet of liquid equivalent in those higher elevations. Again, this is the total accumulated precipitation by Wednesday morning. Well, how does that translate to snowfall? Again, with this possibility of a monster storm in the northeast U.S., there is the threat for significant, substantial snow. Let's say northeastern PA, interior northwest New Jersey, up across New York and New England. A lot of details, of course, have to be ironed out. In fact, today's system that lasts into the day on Saturday in the mid-Atlantic, the northeast U.S., depending on exactly how that plays out, could have an impact on the ultimate result of the Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday system. So we really have to wait to the upcoming weekend to have a better look here. But the potential exists for a major snowstorm for the interior sections of the northeast U.S. and maybe the northern mid-Atlantic as well. Something we will certainly keep an eye on over the next several days. A lot of snow across the northern plains, upper Midwest. Again, this goes all the way out to the middle of next week, to next Wednesday morning. And here in the Sierra Nevada, feet of snow again, perhaps as much as 10 feet of snow in this current system in the next couple of storms in the Sierra Nevada, just adding on to an already incredible snowpack. Perhaps ending this season may end up as the deepest snowpack ever recorded out in these eastern California mountains known as the Sierra Nevada. Well, let's walk through the 500 millibar height anomaly maps from last night's 0Z Canadian model run. This is beginning of the day here on Friday morning, and here's the current system, and here is the system number 2 that will impact the Mid-Atlantic Northeast U.S. This is part of the system impacting California right now. This, again, cannot go farther north because of that high latitude blocking to the north, and it spawns a low pressure area off the Mid-Atlantic coastline by late tonight, early tomorrow. And then here we go. The upper level low that is contributing to California's rains and snows right now will slide in the middle of the country by Sunday morning. And it is at this time that it will kind of start to turn to the south and east, again influenced by that high latitude blocking over Hudson Bay region of Canada and Greenland. It dives to the south and east, and it definitely looks like this is a stronger system, stronger support for that low pressure area that will form near the coastline in the east Sunday night, Monday time frame. So it could dig a little farther to the south and east on the front end, and then ride up a little bit farther to the north and east on the back end. And again, this is the Tuesday midday forecast map, and there could be a powerful storm system somewhere along the northeastern coastline in that Monday night, Tuesday time period. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps using the 0Z run of the Canadian model. And here's that initial system over Ohio. Again, that moves a little bit farther to the north and east, and then weakens, and a secondary develops here. California just getting pounded away today, tonight, into the day on Saturday. And here we go by Saturday morning. This is the Saturday morning forecast map here, and that inverted trough from the Canadian model. Earlier we were looking at the inverted trough with the high resolution model from NOAA. This is that inverted trough. Again, watch out for a burst of snow right in this region right here early tomorrow morning, maybe 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 7, 8 a.m. on Saturday. Here's a reflection of the California storm over the middle of the country by the time we get to the middle of the weekend, and that slides again farther to the south and east than this initial wave in the east, all the way down into Georgia, the Carolinas by Sunday night. And here's when all the action may begin. Intensification along the Carolina coastline by Monday morning, and exactly where this ends up going and how quickly it intensifies will of course play crucial roles in the amount of snow in certain places, the amount of rain, but the potential is there for rapid intensification somewhere off the Mid-Atlantic coastline early next week. We're talking Monday time frame, Monday night time frame. The precipitation actually can begin late in the day on Sunday. And here we go. This is showing a deep storm system here just off the New Jersey coastline by early Tuesday, and a potential for snow all the way back into eastern PA on the backside, on the cold side of that storm. And again, the potential exists for a substantial snowfall. Interior sections of the northern Mid-Atlantic, the northeast U.S., let's say northeastern PA, interior northwestern New Jersey, much of New York and New England in this time period. And if it reaches its full potential, very powerful winds as well. This is the forecast map for midday Tuesday, and not only substantial snowfall in some areas, but powerful wind gusts as well. Meanwhile, take a look here, California getting pounded away again, getting hit again in the early part of next week. So a lot of action going on here from coast to coast. And we'll continue to update things here at arcfieldweather.com. That's it for now. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.